see this week the polls that the Detroit News is running of city residents, and you see people really frustrated and really anxious. Lots of people still saying they don't expect to be here even a year from now. What would you say to an average resident living in a neighborhood who isn't seeing the impact of this stuff quite yet? What should they be thinking? What should they be doing? What should give them any hope?
Well, I mean, I guess Detroit's history as it relates to our population here is that we're a fighting population, and we don't give up, and I hope people don't give up at this point. I understand that change is very difficult, and change doesn't happen overnight. I mean, a lot of the things that we inherited was a reflection of 30 or 40 years of not doing what needed to be done. And so, you know, for anybody that had expectations that in a 3-year period that there was going to be significant change, the expectations were misguided. So I've not tried to promise people too much. I've not lied to anybody. We got to work through this. And I think we've set a foundation that we are going to take forward with all the initiatives and the improvements that we're making, and hope people will believe in us and say that things are going to change, but it's not going to happen overnight. And I'd like for anybody to tell me what kind of legislation has been proposed in the last 3 years that's made a significant change in the city of Detroit. I don't know the answer to that. When you talk animosity, I mean, it seems to me like every time that we want to move an initiative forward, we have to go to council. We've got to get their buy-in, their approval. So there's conversations that's going on daily. But for whatever reasons, a lot of people got different agendas. I got one agenda. I came to do this job for one reason and one reason only. I thought I could help. I know the changes that were necessary to move the needle forward. And I had no idea that it would be this difficult. But it is, and you got to deal with it. You know, you got 9 different people on the council, and there are 9 different agendas. In our executive office, we've got one agenda, and that's to fix as much as we can fix as fast as we can. And when we take things to council, and when I came into office, we had 140 appointees. I now have 93 appointees. So resource-wise, I'm stretched. And you talk about 12 hours. We work 12, 14 hours a day ourselves, but as you say, we're not getting guns pulled on us. Not too often, anyway.
Maybe some of
but we work very hard, and we work close together. So we've got one agenda, and I think that's a very positive thing for us. But then when you go to council, everybody's got their own agenda. And it's hard to get through to get unanimity on any particular subject matter. We got to keep working through that, I believe, and hopefully the relationships will improve, because the one agenda that we need to have is how do we fix the city? How do we collectively fix the city?
This is a lot of good stuff, and as Steve said, would have a big impact on the budget. Is it going to happen in enough time? What are you doing to make it happen quickly enough?
Well, this is where, once again, I think all the constituents really need to come together and try to get on the same page, because if we don't do that, the possibility of running out of cash does exist. But we think from our vantage point, we can manage our way through it. But once again, whether it's labor, whether it's council, whether it's our administration, whether it's Lansing, we all have to understand that we have to work better together.
So in the constituents that you're referring to, labor, council, Lansing, and get on the same page means they need to, and specifically what needs to happen from those various groups in the near term?
Well, I think there are a lot of things that we're pushing forward. They need to understand what our initiatives are from a priority standpoint. We'll be taking those initiatives in a lot of cases to the council, and then it will be up to the council to approve or disapprove. And if they disapprove, then we'll go to the fair board to hopefully that they would come on board and help us. We must all get on the same page. including city council, labor unions, and our citizens. We must have support from Lansing. We must secure the necessary financial resources to achieve our reforms. If we don't meet these challenges, we will need a significant tool to make our reform happen. And right now, that tool is PA4. We must leave you one thing to remember today. It's that we have a working plan. We've made progress, and we understand what our challenges are.